All right, I'm gonna get started. It's 12 o'clock. Actually, it's 12:01. Um, if y'all aren't muted, y'all can mute yourself and then you can unmute if you have questions. But um, I'm recording for anybody that's missing. So welcome to our challenge kickoff. This is the first time we've kind of focused on a um, muscle building challenge. We're still trying to lose fat, but really focused on getting in adequate calories and especially protein. And for those that kind of feel like they're ready, they're going to track all of their macros, but that's kind of on an individual basis. So we're going to dive right in. Um, and just one quick thing, we do these challenges, um, and we want you to like long term, not just the challenge and then go right back to your old habits. The challenge, build the habits, and then continue on with the habits afterwards, so that we're not in a cycle of lose and gain and lose and gain. We want to lose and maintain and continue to build muscle and bring percent body fat down. Um, back to kind of Healthy Steps Nutrition. We're partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition with a registered dietitian. That is a gym and nutrition coaching business near Miami, Florida. And Nicole has an amazing story. If you ever have a chance to listen to her podcast, I think it's called Nutrition Made Simple. She has a great story about her mom was diagnosed with cancer, and they really dove into nutrition and helped her to live a better quality of life through her diagnosis. But it's a really interesting story, and she has a lot of very inspiring stories that she shares on that podcast. But her mission statement is, and we fall in line with that, we believe that something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping you guys become the best and healthiest versions of yourself isn't just about telling you what to eat or supporting you in the gym for a couple of hours a week. Our holistic coaching program addresses all of these things here in the circle: your nutrition, your mindset, your sleep, daily movement, the support system that you have, and your lifestyle. And then we pair that with our coaches and give accountability and support where needed. So, in our seminar today, our objectives are we're going to try to help you understand how to set yourself up for success during this nutrition challenge. Find out what you need to start with first, kind of where your starting point is, and that'll be different for everybody based on kind of where you are and what your current habits and lifestyle are like. And then learn how to utilize the tools that you have to support you on your journey. And some of you are probably a little ahead of others if you've already had your nutrition challenge weigh-in appointment. So first off, let's kind of conduct a self-assessment. I want you to think about and answer these questions. Take a few seconds and think about, what does success look like to you? And some questions that kind of go along with that is, once you meet your ultimate long-term goal, whether that's fat loss or muscle gain, or it's a performance goal, what does life look like when you reach that goal? Where are you? What are some things that you're doing? What do you look like? What do you feel like? What are some things that you can do then that maybe you can't do now? And that's kind of how you answer that question of, what does success look like to you? And then I want you to think about what has worked well for you in the past. Have you tried other diets? And if so, what has worked well? What have you liked about those? And then, what do you struggle with the most? What are those things that trip you up when you're trying to work towards your goal? What have you not liked about diets that you've tried in the past? Or what are some things just in your lifestyle that trip you up or that you struggle with? What's hard? And then looking to the past, what are some things that have inhibited you from seeing results in the past? Those are all some kinds of things that we think about when we're thinking about our long-term goals. So let's talk a minute about goal setting. I know that some of y'all, we've already done this in our challenge meetings, but we always want to set a goal that is SMART, like the acronym. And the S stands for specific. The M, it needs to be measurable. The A, it needs to be attainable. R, it needs to be realistic, right? And then T, time sensitive. It's super important to think about why your goals are important to you. Again, looking at that picture at the end of the long term, once you've met your goals, what does it look like? And thinking about those little things that you can do. I had a great conversation yesterday with Ramona and Rhonda, um, who have a lot of very specific goals of things that they want to be able to accomplish. And it'll take them getting to those long-term goals um, to be able to do those things. So your goal might be to lose some weight, to fit into a specific clothing item again, or wear a swimsuit to the pool. But the question is, why is that important to you? What are the things that you feel when you get to that goal? Will it make you happier? Will you be more confident? Are you more likely to be in pictures? The why behind the goal is so important to determine and keep in mind both during the challenge and on your health and wellness journey. It's super helpful to be able to look back and to kind of reset yourself on why you want to reach your goals, especially when you're struggling and you hit those plateaus. So let's talk about the basics of healthy habits. We really encourage you to only focus on one thing at a time. And then once you nail that one particular thing, then add something else to your plate. Layer on your new habit onto something that you already do. And always, instead of taking things away, try adding something first. For example, instead of saying, I'm not going to have any dessert for 40 days, why don't you rather add something in? Like, say, I'm going to add vegetables to my lunch and my dinner every day. And then you'll notice that you start having less of the things that you would typically want to take away because you're fuller because you have added the good things into your diet and your routine. So some other things to remember is to choose real food over food products. Shop in the perimeter of the grocery store. Do a pantry clean out this weekend before the challenge starts and get rid of all the stuff that's tempting and that you don't need. If you have kids or a husband or somebody in the house that's not on board with your healthy eating, designate a place in the pantry and in the refrigerator where their food is, where those things that trip you up aren't right there when you open the refrigerator and when you open the pantry, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Start checking food labels as you're doing your grocery shopping this weekend, looking for things that have um, less fat, more fiber, not having added sugar, and then trying to follow the plate method. And we're going to talk, there's a little bit of a new plate method for this challenge, especially in the meal that's close to your workout, but we'll get there in a minute. Nutrition is the foundation of a healthy lifestyle. So every week there will be one nutrition focus. And the idea is that we're going to start layering in each nutrition focus on top of each other every week. We'll start with three pillars, though, of a healthy lifestyle that we will have every week of the challenge. And those three pillars are 30 minutes of daily movement, whether that's in the gym, or you're taking a walk at home, or you're just doing some kind of moving outside of the gym. The second thing is sleep. You're going to try to get 7+ hours of sleep every night. And then the third is to practice 10 minutes of stress management every day. Lots of ways you can get stress management, and you can go for a walk. That's a 2-for-1. If you go for a 30-minute walk, you're checking off 10 minutes of stress management and 30 minutes of your daily movement. If you read your Bible reading, just reading for pleasure. Somebody yesterday was like, I pet my dog. So spending 10 minutes with your dog, definitely a stress relief. And every day in the HSN app, you'll see these pillars to mark off daily. Okay. And the nutrition principle will be there every day, and it will build. You'll have one in week 1, you'll have 2 nutrition components in week 2, 3 nutrition components in week 3, and 4 nutrition components in week 4, in addition to those 3 sleep, moving, and stress management. So a lot of things to check off by the time we get to week 4, but it's super organized in the app. And you'll also have an education component every day that'll help you earn points too. And will just kind of set you up for success with those habits every week. So the foundations of our HSN principles is first focusing on whole foods. We should start choosing whole food options and less processed foods that are packed with things like sodium, fat, and sugar. A super simple way to start this is by reshaping your plate using the plate method. And before you even start loading your plate up, it's easy to have these foods on hand if you shop the perimeter, the outside of your grocery store, right? Because it kind of goes typically like your fruits and vegetables, and then your dairy, and then you kind of get around to your meats. You've got some grains kind of in the corner or wherever your bakery is. But really avoiding those aisles in the grocery store, because if you think about it, the aisles are really full of processed foods. Aside from the row that has your like rice on it. So let's dial in a little bit on prioritizing whole foods. There are a ton of supplements, pills, and powders that claim many performance benefits. So we have to not forget that the foundation of health and fueling our body starts with whole foods. So our first core nutrition principle is whole foods. Eat meats and veggies, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and minimal added sugar. There are no pills, supplements, or powders that will magically skyrocket your performance if you're skipping principle number 1, if you're skipping whole foods. So let's dive into the macronutrients and how they will help fuel your body for health, wellness, and performance. So here's the plate method, and here is that fancy new plate method that we're learning about during this challenge is the post-workout meal, where your veggies, protein, and starches are divided into thirds rather than a full half plate and a quarter. So the plate method is one of the easiest and the most effective methods for improving your diet by eating balanced meals full of high quality foods. The plate method is a great rule of thumb when you're eating out or you're whipping up a quick meal at home. So making half of your plate non-starchy vegetables and a quarter of your plate lean protein and a quarter of your plate starchy carbs, and then adding in a healthy plant-based source of fat. Always recommend too to eat your vegetables first and then your protein, and then save your starches for last. And if you're still hungry, go back and eat more non-starchy vegetables, not starches. Womp womp. Also, if you're looking to lose weight and you're doing regular CrossFit or any kind of like a 60-minute class, following the plate method for your meal after your workout will provide you with macronutrients and the fuel you need to recover. And that meal after you work out, you want to look like that post-workout meal. And then here's another note on that, the performance plate method over there. If you're training for extended workouts or have goals of building muscle, that's most of you guys in this challenge, you want to use that third of a plate vegetables, a third of a plate protein, and a third of a plate starch. And you'll start to notice that you're having more protein and more starch on those meals. All right, principle number 2 is to focus on the balance of protein, carbs, and fat. So when we talk about this, the question that I'm really trying to ask you is, does every meal and snack that you consume throughout the day contain a carb, a protein, and a fat? And pairing each meal and snack with all 3 of these macronutrients will help to keep you fuller longer. We'll talk a little bit more about that in principle number 3. So let's talk for a minute on protein and what it does and why we need it and how much of it we need. So protein provides us with important amino acids, which are key to building muscle and recovering. Not to mention, protein helps us stay full and feel more satisfied. When it comes to protein sources, focus on including lean proteins with your meals, such as chicken breast, turkey, egg whites, or fish, but beware of high fat protein sources that can provide up to 5 grams of or even more, 5 grams of fat per ounce of protein, things like ribeyes and chicken wings and such. On average, protein gives you about 4 calories per gram, and you should compose about 30% up to 40% of your daily calorie intake should be coming from protein. And we have kind of talked with y'all that have already come in on where our protein goal is. And another good rule of thumb is about 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight, kind of what your body weight goal is. Okay. Protein sources. This is the food options guide that's in your handbook. However, if you picked up your paper copy, or probably even if you look in your app, the protein section of the handbook looks like a paragraph, and it's not a nice list like this. So I did print some single food options guide with the protein and I think it's the volume carbs, whatever's underneath it on the handbook. I've got them out here on this table outside my desk if you would like to look at it in a little bit more organized than paragraph form. So our protein sources are categorized on the food options guide by their fat content. So the lean ones with the green stars, those have a much lower fat count, somewhere between 0 and 2 grams of fat per ounce. And then the moderate yellow stars there, those have a little bit more fat per gram. And then the fatty protein sources there, unfortunately, bacon at the top of the list. What a bummer. We want to choose those every now and then. So you really want to choose from the green section, have the yellow section every now and then you'd think about that red section as being a treat, maybe once or twice a month or so. All right, carbohydrates are your body's main source of fuel and primary source of energy when you exercise. Carbs prevent protein from being used as energy, which is important because we need the protein not to be burned. We need that to go to burning our muscles or building our muscles. Carbs are the biggest umbrella of macronutrients. For example, all of these foods fall under the carbohydrate umbrella. Fruit, beans, rice, bread, pasta, all your vegetables, all your starches, candy, juice, sodas, so much more. Carbohydrates break down into glucose, which is your body's preferred source of fuel. Our bodies require carbohydrates daily to fuel your brain. Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, and we should have our carbs set somewhere between 30 and 40% of your daily calories. Also, that is an individual basis, and we are trying to help y'all set those during your individual meetings. So if you haven't had yours yet, we'll work on that. And to those of you that have already come, I think we made it, pretty clear. Like if you get into it and you're tracking your macros and you're feeling like your numbers are just not right, we definitely want you to reach out so that we can help you adjust those or navigate through hitting those numbers. Carbohydrates that should be prioritized to improve performance are high in vitamins and minerals and contain limited sugar because sugar contributes to inflammation. When you're focusing on whole foods first, we are consuming quality carbs to promote recovery and health. And so here's the starchy carbs section from your food options guide. Carbohydrates fall into 2 categories. We have starchy carbs, and then we have non-starchy, or sometimes I refer to those as volume carbs. And the reason for that is because it takes up the biggest volume on your plate when you're following the plate method. The non-starchy carbs go in the half portion of the regular plate method. So it's super important to understand the difference between the two, between starchy carbs and non-starchy carbs when you're trying to build your plate. The carbohydrate section here is broken down into like where these foods fall on the glycemic index. So these lower glycemic carbohydrates and vegetables don't have as much naturally occurring sugar as the ones over here on the high glycemic side. And then this section here is your volume. These are your non-starchy carbs. This is what's going in the half a plate. So this is going in your 1/4 of a plate in the regular plate method. And these carbohydrates are going in that full half section of your plate. Most of these are your green vegetables. And then like cauliflower, I call that the albino vegetable, the albino green, because it counts as a green vegetable. All right, and then the other is healthy fats. Fats are super important, so we don't want to cut them out completely. We just want to have them in a lower content because they're the most calorically dense. There are 9 grams of calories in each fat. Fats include nuts, seeds, oils. Most of your meats are going to have fats in them too because animals contain fat. That's why we're choosing the leaner meats most of the time so that we don't have too many fats in our diet. But fats are super important because they play a role in your membranes, and they also help you to absorb the vitamins in the rest of your food that you're eating. Vitamins A, E, D, and K are fat soluble. However, like I said, fats are the most calorically dense of the 3 macronutrients. So remember, a little bit goes a long way. And we also want to be choosing plant-based sources of fat when we're adding in like avocado or olive oil. And we want our fats to be somewhere between 30 and 40%, probably closer to 30% because we're trying to focus on more protein in this challenge. Maybe even like 25. Fats are going to be ideal for performance. With the fats that are ideal for performance contain omega-3s, which fight inflammation and are going to help you to recover. So some examples of fats that contain omega-3s are going to be like salmon, wild-caught salmon, mackerel, herring, almonds, and walnuts. I don't think you find mackerel and herring around here too often, but salmon's pretty easy to find. And then here's the healthy fats section of your food options guide. And there are a lot of choices on there, some nuts and some seeds, and then your different oils. Okay. And a few other things too. All right, back to our principles. The third principle is limiting the amount of added sugar that you consume daily. I talk about this all the time, so y'all should have this memorized. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons for women of sugar a day and 9 teaspoons for men. However, the average person consumes 150 pounds, over 150 pounds of sugar per year. And that comes out to be, if you divide it by 365, about 46 teaspoons per day. So we are way over on average what we should be having. And it's not surprising because sugar is super addicting. And when you start reading food labels in the grocery store, you're going to feel like there is sugar in almost every product that you pick up. So a great way to limit your added sugar is to eat mostly whole foods with a balance of your macronutrients. All right, we'll talk a little bit on each of these pillars that we're focusing on in the challenge. And the first is sleep. So if you don't track your sleep or you don't have any idea about how many hours you're sleeping, we're going to start now. And our goal is going to be, because most adults need between 7 and 8 hours, your goal for the challenge is going to be to aim to get 7. Sleep is directly correlated to your body's ability to regulate hormone levels, blood sugar, to help you recover and really just to feel your best. Specifically related to performance, research shows that athletes may need even more sleep for proper recovery. Sleep is vital for hormone regulation and muscle building. When we don't sleep enough, hormone regulation is all out of whack, which will inhibit our ability to lose weight, perform your best, and build muscle. And about 35% of adults sleep less than 7 hours a night. So we're going to try and step it up, get at least 7, maybe 8. So how are you going to get 7 hours of sleep a night? It feels like there's not enough hours in the day, right? Start looking at your routine and your schedule and start trying to work in a schedule and a routine and have a bedtime, set a bedtime and try to get in bed at the same time every night. And we'll talk more in the challenge about ways to help you fall asleep quicker and some things that you can do before you get in bed to set you up for a better night's sleep. Let's talk about stress management. This kind of goes in with stress management and will help you with sleep. Box breathing is a technique that has been shown to calm the central nervous system and allow your mind to help you go back to sleep or relax. So how it works is you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold that breath in for 4 seconds, then you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you hold that for 4 seconds. So we'll just practice real quick. Let's do it together. So we're going to breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea is that you just keep doing that until you fall back asleep. And that's a great technique to use when you find yourself worked up or stressed out. When you have chronic stress, your body stays alert, even though there is no danger. Over time, this puts you at risk for health problems, including high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, or anxiety, even skin problems such as acne or eczema, and even for ladies, menstrual problems. So what can you do? You've got to find productive ways to manage your stress. Think about it this way, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right? The power of positive thinking. If you struggle with negative self-talk or just even overthinking everyday tasks, this book, Soundtracks by Jon Acuff, is so good. He really talks about how to overcome overthinking. If you don't know what overthinking is, overthinking is when what you think gets in the way of what you want. So let's say you look at the workout for tomorrow and all you can think about is how hard it is and how you're going to struggle with one part of the workout because it's a very difficult movement for you. You keep replaying in your mind how tough it is going to be. And then when you get to the gym and you're doing the workout, all you can think about is how hard it is. Versus you see a workout and you know it's going to be a challenge, but you tell yourself, I've been working really hard and it's going to be fun to see how this one goes. During the workout, you tell yourself, good job, you are doing your best. At the end of this experience, which scenario do you think had the better workout? 10 out of 10, person number 2 with the positive thinking had a much better workout. And so we just want to the book really helps you walk through all of the things that you overthink or that you're negative to yourself about and how to turn that around to the positive. It's super good. It's easy to listen to on audiobooks too, if you'd rather listen than read. All right, so one of the other challenge pillars is exercise. And when we say exercise, I do not mean spending every day in the gym. We do want to include your higher intensity workouts in the gym and strength training 3 to 4 days of the week, but that leaves 3 or 4 days of the week that you're not in the gym. So exercise has a ton of benefits related to overall health, blood sugar control, and disease prevention. So if you find yourself sitting at a desk most of the day or sitting around on your couch the other days or the other hours of the day that you're not in the gym, one great habit to get into would be going for a 15-minute walk after lunch and dinner. You will see so many benefits if you start incorporating walks around your mealtime. It not only helps with digestion, but it also helps with blood sugar regulation. Now, let's talk about habits. The habits for this challenge are meant to be easy so that you are able to feel successful and build a solid foundation. These habits are just the beginning. If you decide to do ongoing coaching, we'll continue to dial in details for you according to your lifestyle. Also, want you to be paying attention to these non-scale victories or any other non-scale victories that you have along the way. And please don't forget to share those with us on Friday in the group in the HSN app when we ask for Bright Spot Fridays. Some things to be looking for are better moods, increased energy, feeling more confident, getting better sleep, feeling better with your relationships, improved health. If any of y'all have your numbers checked, let us know. Increased strengths and PRs in the gym or just feeling stronger in general. I'd love to hear when you're picking up the 50-pound sack of dog food, you didn't get a buggy, you carried it through the store or something like that. And then of course, decreased inches, your clothes fitting better, being able to tie your shoes more easily, those kind of things. So if you've already checked in with your appointment, we've gone over the HSN app and I've explained to you where you'll see your habits, but you can kind of see on this little phone here if you haven't been there yet, or also because we can't see this yet in the challenge. This is the home screen in the HSN app, and you see you've got things to do and the date. And the blue circle is your video, your education for the day. And then the yellow circles are going to be your daily habits. So weekly videos under your training plan, that's the kettlebell. If you need to access them, the kettlebell across the bottom of your screen. Group messaging is under, it says Burn and Build Challenge. And then private messaging, you can always reach that with the B bandit circle. And then tracking your daily habits. We know that most successful clients are those clients who are the most engaged. That's how you earn your points. And a great way to stay engaged and on track is by tracking your habits and checking them off daily. When you check off your habits, you're going to get a little thumbs up or that little like reminder finger every time. Using your app, we have uploaded weekly habits to help you kickstart your journey. I'm not going to go through this right now. Okay. Under your daily nutrition goal, you'll have your groups, and you'll have a little emoji there, and it'll say Bandit Burn and Build Challenge. This is where you can go and tell us your bright spots. If you have a question, you can post it in there. And if you find a new recipe or you find something that's working really well for you, and you feel like it might help others, please share it in the group. And I would love over, what is today, Thursday, the next Friday, Saturday, Sunday before we start, to type out in the group messaging one thing that you hope to get out of this challenge. That would be great. We'll get the conversation started. Some tips on the app is move the HSN app to your home screen. And I also tell people, like, stick it next to something that you use regularly. Like if you get on Facebook every day, put the HSN app next to your Facebook or your email or your text messaging or your Instagram or something like that. Because when you get a message or something's happening in the group, you will not get like a ding dong. There's no noise, but it will show you like a little notification that you have a message. You also want to go in and make sure that your notifications are turned on. And you can do that by clicking the three little circles in the bottom and then going to notifications and setting them however you would like them. You can also set a reminder in the app to remind you to get into the app daily. You can set what time of day you want it to tell you that. All right, let's go through some frequently asked questions when we're doing a challenge. Do you have to weigh and log your food? You certainly do not, but a lot of you, that's a goal of yours in this challenge, is to log your food and to at least track your protein intake. But you can do it just as easily by using the plate method. And you could even send in pictures through the HSN app of your food. You just hit that little plus button in meals and you can click a meal photo. Another question is, do you have to eat your starchy carbs? I thought carbs are bad for me. Nope, carbs are not bad for you, but you want to be choosing the carbs that are listed on that food options guide and not filling up with higher sugar carbs, less packaged. Always get this question is, can you eat a sandwich? Absolutely, you can. You just have to make it a healthy part of your balanced meal. So you can start with using whole grain or sprouted wheat bread. You could also use those whole grain sandwich flats, or you can make your sandwich open-faced. Then you want to load up on your lean protein and think lots of vegetables. Try lots of different things on your sandwich. Then you could finish it off with some avocado or hummus for your fat, but not a lot, in moderation. So you kind of just want to think about putting all of your sandwich components on a plate with the plate method and then build your sandwich from there. So your sandwich might look a little bit different and be a little bit fatter than you're used to it being. This is a big question. Are there any snack bars that you can have? When you're looking at a snack bar, um, a lot of snack bars that are marketed to be healthy or have limited ingredients are high in carbohydrates and very low in protein. So make sure you're reading the label. We do like the RX and the RX Kids bar. I really like the RX Kids bar because it's not so much of it. The low sugar kind bars, and then there's also the Perfect, and I also prefer the Perfect mini bars, are some that have low ingredients. They have a decent amount of protein and aren't overloaded with sugar. What about if you don't love veggies? What can you do? Um, I hear this a lot. I have one of my one-on-one clients right now that is just having an aversion to veggies. So we have been really trying to navigate and try new things. But I always tell people when you're starting out, trying to add in more vegetables, um, don't give up on a particular food, a particular vegetable specifically, until you have tried cooking it several different ways. Um, if you have never tried roasting your vegetables, or particularly a vegetable that you think you don't like, try it roasted or air fried. Gives a totally different texture and flavor. And then don't forget about seasonings. You can really season your vegetables to give them a different flavor. So give that a try. And then here's this. Can you still eat your favorite food? Absolutely. I was talking with it about like this with somebody yesterday. Um, somebody was asking them, well, can you eat this? Can you eat that? And you're like, absolutely. Yes, I can eat that. I just have to choose to eat other things with it. We were specifically talking about pizza. Can I eat pizza? Yes, you can eat pizza. I worked with a client several years ago, and I think she still does this. I didn't ask her when she checked in, but when they have pizza night at their house, she always cooks broccoli to go with it because she eats her vegetables first and then she eats her pizza. And she also makes sure that she has a protein source on her pizza. Um, and the client that I was talking about yesterday was like, well, should I eat pizza or should I eat salad? And my answer is, well, you should eat both. You should eat your really big salad. You should add protein to your salad, and then you should just eat one slice of pizza, not three or four, right? So you can incorporate your favorite foods. You just kind of have to think about how often you're having your favorite foods and how you're pairing them on your plate, right? So if you think about having pizza overall, what macronutrient is pizza? Like what would be the highest? Carbohydrates, right? Probably fat too. So you would limit it. You would have a very small portion of that carbohydrate, and then you would want to make sure that you have vegetables, a half of a plate sized serving with it, and some protein. So you're just changing it up and you're not having just pizza. Does that make sense? Um, so what happens after a challenge? Imagine yourself 6 months from now, and you've continued to focus on what is manageable after the challenge. Where do you see yourself? You would still be successful if you were working on those habits continually. Now, if you think about yourself 6 months from now, but after the challenge is over, you kind of had stepped back from focusing on your goals. How does that future differ from the first? So, we definitely want you to keep up with your habits. So if you need help after the challenge, if you feel like typically after a challenge, you do good for a couple weeks and then you fall off and then you find yourself waiting for the next challenge so that you can get back on track. We don't want you to do that. We would much rather you take advantage of ongoing coaching where we can help you stay on track with your habits after the challenge. So let's talk about how you win the challenge. If you've already checked in, you have your, hold on, let me grab one of these. How to earn your points. So I told you the doing your habits and watching the video every day, that all earns you points. 1 point per video, 1 point per habit, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end of the challenge, you will get 5 points for each visceral fat point that you lose. You'll earn 3 points for every pound of muscle that you gain, and you'll earn a point for each pound of body fat lost, and then 1 point for being hydrated at that final check-in. So whoever has the most points at the end of the challenge, that's the winner. So obviously you can't just do your habits and not check them off and expect with your InBody to win the challenge. You've really got to be engaged in the challenge and doing your habits every day and remembering to check them off in order to win. And it is certainly based on the honest system. Y'all do not mark habits that you're not doing. And then we also have 4 sponsors for the challenge. We'll have a different sponsor, a bit different business sponsoring us every week. And we will draw a winner for the week based on the people that are checking off that they did the mini challenge for the week. And you'll see that in your app. You'll notice what that is. And I will give you all that information every week. But our sponsors this time around are Wool Market Pharmacy, Run and Try, Ascent Protein, and not Magnus this time. His wife is going to talk to us and give away a service from Mind and Body. Her name is Bobby Eklund. So complete your weekly goals. I would really love for you guys to sit down and take some time and do a self-assessment. I know we're doing goals and kind of asking you why you want to meet those goals in here, but it would be so helpful to y'all to take some time and sit down with a piece of paper and write down what your goals are, where you are now, and where you would like to see yourself a year from now, or just whenever you meet your goals, what life looks like. And take some time to think about and write down why they're important to you. We're not going to do weekly review forms. I didn't take that off of here. Complete your mini challenges. Those are just some tiny habits that can help you get the most out of the challenge. Send pictures of your food, pictures of your workouts, pictures of your progress in the group chat. Share recipes that you find and like and try along the way in the group chat. Be supportive to other people if they post. Give them a high five, that thumbs up, or an emoji. I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions? Jake likes RX bars, but I agree. Some flavors are not great. I don't like the chocolate chip one. I think it tastes like dog food. I have a couple
That's
of
the one that I was talking about. The chocolate one is really it's very unsweet, and I
Yeah,
find it kind of gross. The blueberry ones I love.
I do love the blueberry ones. And there's the kids bar, like the smaller one, has a peanut butter and jelly bar that I really like.
Hmm.
So thanks for hanging in. Let's see.
Yeah,
No
my
other
I guess
questions?
my only questions are about
Mhm.
I'm still working on I'm trying to figure out the HSN app. At what point does it start counting towards the challenge? Is that on the
On
19th?
Monday. Monday
Okay,
morning,
cool.
everything will populate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like sleep,
Mhm.
somehow it logged me for like 13 hours of sleep last night instead of like 9.
That's
So I guess
okay.
I put it in wrong. I don't know if that's something I can edit,
No,
but
don't worry about that. So you won't add your sleep. The way you'll get your points for the sleep is by checking off when those habits populate on Monday. If you
oh,
check
okay.
that thing, it won't automatically like take your
Gotcha.
sleep and check off that habit for you.
Okay.
So don't worry about that.
A-
It's not a big deal. But that's
And
awesome. I'm jealous.
yeah. And something cool that I've noticed is the HSN app allows you to connect it to Garmin and MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
So like I'm used to MyFitnessPal, like we talked about yesterday,
Hmm.
and it's importing all of my macro and calorie stuff live from
Yes.
MyFitnessPal, and then it's taking all my exercise stuff from Garmin too. So like it seems to be pretty slick in
So
terms of
fancy.
yeah, it seems to be doing good. I'm just
Good.
trying to like
Play
figure that
around
all
with
out.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
it'll look a lot different on Monday when everything populates. And the reason I can't get it to go ahead and show you all of that now is because as people sign up for the challenge, I have to add them in there and I can't put the habits until everybody. Otherwise, well, I could, but then I'd have to go add every single one of those habits for every single day to each individual person. And that's very
Yeah, that
tedious.
sounds
If I wait until
yeah,
everybody's in there, I only have to do it one time. So.
cool.
Yes. Yep. But there's folders out here on the table outside of outside of my office with a handbook in it, the food options guide that doesn't look like a paragraph, and a protein sample and a little thing from Run and Try is in there too. So those are out there, and then a couple other things on the table. So y'all make sure you check the table out if you missed getting something from your check-in if I didn't have everything together. which I didn't for most people until today. We're
Awesome.
getting
Thank you.
there.
Are they
Welcome.
like named or do we just grab
No,
one
I just have
packet?
them blank. They
Okay,
so just pick a folder, and they all have, I think, the same flavor protein in it. So it's not
cool.
necessarily to dig through to find a favorite protein flavor. I think they're all chocolate peanut butter.
Sweet.
So, yepers. All right. Well, I think you're the only one left on here now. I think Lacey left us. So, this is recorded and I'm gonna send it to everybody. Jake, if you have any questions, I'm sure now that you're playing in the app, you see where to message in there. So just shoot me a message and we'll get
Thank you so
going.
much for having this.
Yeah, welcome. I thought this was a very informative little seminar, so it was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try a lot of those. I hadn't considered like the macro splits before. Like I have been doing
Yeah.
the My Plate thing, but to
Hmm.
actually purposely go in and choose even among starches that are lower glycemic index, that's a
Yeah.
good thing
Yeah.
that I think I can do that I can prove on.
Yeah. Super. Super. All right. Well, have a great day, sir.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.